Hello and welcome to Telesur. I'm Ian Bruce and this is Interviews from Quito, the program in which we explore some of the big challenges facing this country and the region. In today's program, shenanigans in the National Assembly here in Ecuador. On the one hand, opposition members are trying to bring a vote of censure against the Interior Minister, Paula Romo, for incompetence or corruption in the prison crisis. On the other hand, government members are doing the same against members of the elected oversight body, the Council of Citizen Participation. To talk about this, we have Assembly member Ronny Aleaga from the Citizen Revolution Movement. But first, let's take a look at this short video.
A political trial is being claimed by the National Assembly members in Ecuador against Interior Minister Paula Romo on corruption and incompetence. Romo is in charge of Ecuador's security measures, but insecurity has escalated during her time in office. She was also involved in the case in which former President of the Assembly, Elizabeth Cabezas, made a phone call to Romo to warn her about the Assembly's voting to prosecute President Lenin Moreno. What is going on inside the National Assembly? Which topics are being debated? Follow our analysis.
Thank you, Ronny. Let's start with the case of Paula Romo. Over 40 lawmakers are seeking a political trial or a vote of censure against her over the crisis in the prisons. What's this all about?
Hola Ian, qué gusto estar aquí en tu programa. How nice to be here with you. Well, we're really dignified that we have a minister of government that has been totally unprepared to direct this minister. Let's not forget that this has become a bigger ministry. And it's true, more than 40 congressmen have requested a political judgment against Paula Romo. This is an initiative that began from the political party of Creo, of Lourdes Cuesta, along with Roberto Gomez. I signed along with this request because I think it's fair. Just now, when we need more decency than ever, a person who is a public authority cannot make these mistakes, such as the ones that Paula Romo has. Then all of the situation in the prisons was disastrous. Let's start with the things in the street. The high numbers of delinquency is also due to the lack of government that is totally
incompetent. What errors?
¿Cuáles son los
errores?
What
are
the mistakes?
The mistakes.
Well,
I think that the mistakes of this ministry is that the violence has increased to levels never seen before. The lack of preparation of the police, the lack of equipment of the police. Many times you're walking down the street and you see these police stations and they're totally empty. There's nothing inside. The cars that are outside, the police cars, they're not walking, they're not around the street because there's no gas. Some of them are not working. They have no maintenance. And however, back in the time this minister traveled her and another public official in a helicopter of the police that should be used for the benefit of the people of Ecuador and not for the enjoyment of the minister. These mistakes are terrible. I think the worst one is to allow that in a state of exception that was declared in the prisons, there were 21 dead people within the prisons. Even the prisoners even played with the head of a human being. And the minister was watching this because why didn't they do anything to calm this down? There was no action, there was no effective action on behalf of the minister.
I want to get into this situation in the prisons a bit more, because is it incompetence? Is it corruption? Or is it a lack of funds? Is the problem really economic?
It's all of the above. Because incompetence is because we have personnel that is not prepared, and this is because of the corruption, because they hire their friends. Let's see who are the professionals that are directing these centers. If their CVs are adequate for those offices,
Y además de
And
esto,
additionally,
la falta de sensibilidad
the
por
lack
parte
of
de las
sensibility
autoridades.
on behalf of the
Tenemos el
authorities.
resumen y sobre todo la receta perfecta del
This is the
desastre.
perfect
Entonces el tema de
recipe
la
for
corrupción
disaster.
no solamente
So it's
parte de que estén
corruption
afuera
is
y
not
estén
only
metiendo
that
cosas adentro de
there are
las
people
cárceles,
that are
porque
outside
los
and they
PPL
smuggle things
tienen
inside.
armas
Because
blancas,
the
cuchillos, tienen
prisoners
pistolas,
have
tienen hasta
weapons,
granadas, han
guns,
encontrado,
grenades,
celulares.
cell
Entonces
phones.
significa que la
So this
corrupción
means
está
that the corruption
institucionalizada,
is
está enquistada dentro de los centros de
within
rehabilitación.
all of the
Esto a vista y
institutions.
paciencia del Ministerio de Gobierno,
And of course, the
quien es
minister
que debería
oversees all
regular
of
todas
this,
estas
and they
acciones.
should
But if you
regulate.
say the problem is institutionalized, it's not a new problem under Maria Paula Romo, under this government. It's a structural problem that goes back much further, I suppose.
No, por supuesto que
Of
no.
course not.
Recordar que nosotros
Let's
construimos
recall that we
centros de
built
rehabilitación
rehabilitation
para llegar a
centers
aproximadamente a 23.000,
house
más de
more than
23.000 personas privadas de
23,000
libertad. Actualmente hay
people.
hacinamiento.
Right
Tenemos
now,
39.000
we
personas
have
privadas de libertad.
overcrowded
Y eso se debe
prisons.
a la
And this
deficiencia y
is
a
due
la
for the
negligencia por parte de la
deficiency
función de la
of the
función
judicial
judicial,
branch
que está cooptado así mismo por
that
el
is
gobierno nacional.
totally
Y le
controlled
dan
by the
más derechos a
government.
los
And they
delincuentes
give them
que
more
a las
rights
personas de bien que
to the
estamos todos
crimes,
los días
to the
circulando y
criminals than
transitando por el
the
Ecuador.
normal
El tema de
citizens
recursos
that
que
just walk around.
me olvidé de mencionar en la parte anterior.
Regarding the
Obviamente, no hay
funds,
inversión
of course
social,
there is
pero se
no
están
social
despilfarrando la
investment,
plata en otros
but they're
temas.
spending
Aquí,
money in
¿qué
other
obra hemos
things?
visto que haya inaugurado el gobierno nacional?
What
Y no cuenta que
infrastructure
usted le
construction
cambie el
have we
logo a
seen
las
here?
obras que ya habíamos
And
inaugurado
it
como
doesn't
gobierno de
count
Revolución
if
Ciudadana.
you
Eso no
change
es
the
inaugurar
logo
una
on
obra.
the buildings on the
Obras
outside.
palpables que
We
nosotros
want to see
hayamos visto
new
que haya
buildings,
construido el gobierno
new
de Lenín Moreno no
infrastructure.
existen.
There are
Entonces la
none.
inversión
So
en el
the
sector
investment
social,
in the
que
social
justamente
sector
incluye también
that
el tema de
includes
los centros de rehabilitación,
the
porque son seres
rehabilitation
humanos,
centers,
y
because
tenemos
these
que
are
darle las
people
normas
too,
básicas
and we need to
en
give
base
them
a los derechos que ellos
basic
tienen
rights,
de que puedan cumplir su condena
and
de
they
una
have to be
manera
able to
tranquila y respetándole sus
complete their
derechos.
time in
Pero
jail
aquí no se ha hecho
respecting
absolutamente nada.
their rights, but
Y ahí
nothing has
esto
been done
parte
here.
en que efectivamente
And
los recursos que siempre
this,
llegan al Estado
let's not
son
forget that the
destinados para sus
funds
amigos,
that
son
are
destinados para un
that are
gasto
destined to
corriente
this
de
are
funcionarios
allocated to
públicos,
other
muchas
things,
veces los
to their
amigos
own
de ellos,
benefit, to
y
their
como ya
friends.
mencioné y me ratifico
And
mis
as I
palabras,
mentioned before,
verifiquemos
let's
las
verify
autoridades dentro de los ministerios
with
si cumplen el perfil
if the
profesional para el
authorities
cargo que están
have
ostentando en este
the
momento.
correct
But you
CV
say that money
for
is being
for their
spent on,
post.
trivial things, on corrupt practices. What about the economic policies of the government, the agreement with the IMF? Is that part of the reason why the funds are not available?
Por supuesto,
Of
esa es una
course.
parte
That
es la
is-
columna vertebral del mal manejo económico y del
that
giro
is
a la
the
derecha que
pivotal
tomó
point
el
of this.
régimen de Moreno
Because
apenas se sentó
the
en Carlos
government
Leguer.
of
Sabemos
Moreno
de quiénes está
took this
rodeado.
route.
El
We
Ecuador
know
en
who surrounds
19
him.
ocasiones ha
Ecuador,
firmado
on
cartas de
19
intención con el Fondo
times,
Monetario
have
Internacional.
signed
¿Cuándo le ha
intention
funcionado?
letters with the
Nunca.
IMF. When does that
Siempre
ever
le ha
worked?
traído al
It has
Ecuador
never
dolor,
worked. It has always
sufrimiento
brought
y debacle
suffering
económica. Y
and
es lo que estamos viviendo en
economical
este momento nuevamente.
debacle.
Pero usted puede creer que
But
nosotros
can you
siendo el país que
believe
tenemos 8
that
hidroeléctricas
we
nos
have
aumentan el
8
servicio de las tarifas
hydroelectric
del
plants?
servicio
They
de
increase
energía
the
eléctrica.
bills.
Siendo un país petrolero,
We are
nos suben y nos
oil
eliminan
producer,
los subsidios de,
and up until
de los
now,
combustibles.
we have been,
No hay inversión en
the
salud,
price
no
of
hay
gas
inversión en
has
educación.
increased. There is
Despiden
no
a los
investment
funcionarios
in
públicos. Uno de los
education, in health.
requerimientos de la carta de intención del Fondo Monetario
They've
Internacional era
let go
reducir el
several
1% del gasto público
public
sobre el
officials.
PIB, que significa el despido de 90.000
So,
trabajadores ecuatorianos de la función
90,000
pública hasta
workers
diciembre de este año.
have been
Además de
fired
eso,
this
lo han
year.
dicho descaradamente,
And
sino
they've
que todavía
said
no les
it.
sale
They've
la
said it
jugada, que
outside.
quieren
They've
aumentar
said
el
out
IVA.
loud that
Ahora
they want to
resulta
increase the
que nos
tax,
exigen a los ecuatorianos que arrimemos
the
el hombro.
value-added
¿Y
tax.
por qué no le
So
exigimos eso a
now
los
they're
ecuatorianos?
asking
Que a
the
los a los
Ecuadorians to
empresarios
support all of
ecuatorianos,
this.
que
Why
se
don't
les
we ask
perdonó
the
más de
company
4.000
people,
millones de dólares
all of
y
these
ahora se está
companies to
llorando por un
support?
crédito de 4.200 millones de dólares al Fondo Monetario Internacional? Es la incompetencia
It's the
más sumada en
incompetence
consecuencia de un
plus
régimen nefasto
the
que
bad
lo único que ha
management
hecho es
of a
traer dolor
poor
a las
government
familias
that has brought
ecuatorianas. Y esto por
hurt to
seguir la
the
receta del
Ecuadorian
Fondo Monetario
families.
Internacional.
And all of this to
Retrocesos en
follow the
materia
recipes
laboral,
of the IMF.
flexibilización laboral.
They want to
Ahora
also
tenemos a los dueños y
flexibilize the
representantes de las
workers'
cámaras
laws,
de comercio,
the
de
labor
construcción, de
code.
industrias, sin desparpajo salen a dar rueda de prensa de decir
And
que
we
está
have
bien
all of the
el
elite
tema de la
people of the
flexibilización
construction
laboral,
that they say
que
it's fine,
necesitan más
that
insumos,
we
que
should
necesitan más
flexibilize the
alicientes.
labor
Pero
code.
¿hasta cuándo?
But-
¿Cuándo hay el aliciente para el ciudadano de a
But
pie, al
when
ciudadano
is there going to
común,
be
a
any
la
type
señora
of
del mercado, al
retribution to
comerciante
the
autónomo que
workers,
sale todos los días
to to all of the independent workers. Those are the ones we should think of.
The Council of Citizen Participation. This is also before the Assembly at the moment, with the sacking of some members of it, political trials on the agenda. What's going on there?
Bueno, en el tema del juicio político en contra del Consejo de Participación Ciudadana y Control Social, electo democráticamente, porque este sí fue electo por el pueblo ecuatoriano en las urnas, no como el transitorio, que hizo y violentó la Constitución como le vino en gana.
Not like the previous one that was just handpicked. Now that they have a majority that they didn't agree with, that the people of the government did not like, what they tried to do was to find a way to make them step down. So we've seen this practice before in Argentina, in Brazil, and Venezuela. These are attempts of coup. In Bolivia, I mentioned them already.
No se respeta la voluntad popular, pero son tan
the will of the people is not respected. However, those who always lose at the polls are the first ones who respect the will of the people.
Accusations against the members of the council. ¿Cuáles son las acusaciones en contra de los miembros del
Bueno, que supuestamente se habían
allegedly they had done things that they were not supposed to, that was not in their judgment.
Cuando lo que estaban queriendo hacer,
it was not in this jurisdiction. But what they really did was to evaluate the contest on how they were designated, the members of the Constitutional Court.
Which is what they're meant to do. ¿Qué es lo que se supone que deberían hacer?
Exactamente, es su trabajo.
Exactly, that was their job.
Está reglamentado entre la
Constitución. That's in the regulation. But nothing is respected here. Let me go a step further. Not only do they not allow them to do their work because they're so afraid of the fiscalization, they're afraid of the control because they know that they've done legal atrocities within all of the levels of the government. But let me say something else. There is a disrespect to the public will, because it can't be possible that a president that only has 14% of acceptance, this is the lowest number in all of the Republic. But it's a Congress that has no support of the people. They only have 15% of support of the people. And they fire the last institution that was respected, that was elected by the people. Now it turns out to be that the assembly members have more rights than the people. We're just public officials. The people are the ones who pay us. Let's see what happens. These people that now betray the public will, what will happen when they ask for the vote?
In the context of, the case or the attempt to bring charges against former President Rafael Correa, the case against his vice president, Jorge Glas, who of course has been in prison now for a long time. How are these things connected?
Well,
as I mentioned before, it's a regional agenda, just like they tried to make of Lula guilty for the Odebrecht case. They tried to do the same thing with Cristina Kirchner in Argentina, and here there was a magic diary of the secretary of Pamela Martinez that apparently she registered any income of money. From the beginning, we demanded that there should be some research on that diary, because from the beginning we know that was written in 2016. So apparently she has great memory and she remembers everything that happens, and 3 years later she writes them down. She even writes the decimal numbers of the amounts. This is terrific, what we're living here in Ecuador, because there's no rule of law. There's lawfare. There is a persecution of the people using their own laws. They're trying to vinculate Rafael Correa. Well, apparently there's the only charge against him is $6,000 against him. Well, there's no law here. The Vice President Glas,
participa, como se les cae el tema del cuaderno.
Since the notebook is not this diary, it didn't work. They tried with an Excel page. Now
una persona que da un testimonio.
There's a witness, and this person who gives the witness, first we have to see if it was true. But the one who did it was José Conceição Santos, who was official in Odebrecht.
en el caso contra Jorge
And he was
Glas
the same one against Jorge Glas. And in 2017,
nunca
he said,
financió Odebrecht ninguna campaña electoral.
Odebrecht never
Él dijo,
financed
yo no
any
conocía
campaign.
al abogado Alexis Mera.
I
Él
never
volvió a
met
mencionar, yo no
Alexis
conocía
Mera.
al señor Rafael Correa.
I did
en
not
el
meet
2017.
Correa. This is what he said in
Ahora viene el año
2017.
2019,
Now
y el señor dice,
2019,
yo entregué
and this
5
same man
millones
says,
a
I gave
Alianza
5
País
million to
en
Alianza
sobres de
País
Manila. ¿Puedes creer
in
tanta
envelopes, in closed envelopes.
sinvergüencería? Además dice, yo
And now he
conocí al
says,
señor
I
Alexis
knew
Mera a través de
Alexis
Charlie
Mera
Pareja
through
Cordero,
Charlie Pareja
Capaco.
Cordero.
Dice, conocí a
Now he
Rafael
says,
Correa, pero
I
él pidió
met Correa, but he
confidencialidad.
asked for
O sea, es de
confidentiality.
terror lo que estamos viviendo.
So, this is
Realmente
terrible.
esta gente no tiene
These
decencia,
people
no tiene moral.
have no
Y este
decency
señor
or
es un
morale.
delator a la carta.
This
Es
man
solamente
is
el
a
esbirro
witness.
de la Fiscalía General del Estado
Whatever
para
he-
poder
whatever they
tratar de
ask him to
mantener este
do.
mamotreto. El pueblo ecuatoriano no
The
come cuentos,
Ecuadorian
discúlpeme que
people
le
do
hable
not
tan morocho,
believe
pero el
none
pueblo
of this.
ecuatoriano ya no come este tipo de cuentos
They
porque
don't
sabe
believe
que
anything
están
of this
violentando
because they
la
know
Constitución,
that the
las leyes
Constitution
y todo
and the
esto
laws
para
are being
distraer la
broken
atención
to
de la
distract
mala administración que
to the
actualmente
poor
existe,
administration
y sobre todo
that
en
this
el tema
government is
económico.
showing,
Ronny,
especially
we're
in the
almost
economic
out of time.
field.
One final question, a short answer, please. What can or should be done to counter this situation?
¿Qué se puede hacer?
What can
El
be
pueblo
done?
digno,
Well,
el pueblo
the
libre,
people,
el pueblo
the free
altivo,
people
ecuatoriano tiene que pronunciarse de
have
una
to-
manera democrática
have to be
en
clear,
las calles, ejercer
in
nuestro
the
derecho a la
streets.
resistencia,
We have
demostrar nuestro malestar contra un
we have to,
régimen que está
have a
causando dolor
resistance.
y desolación contra el pueblo
We have to
ecuatoriano.
go against this
Que en
government
las
that is
próximas
hurting the
elecciones
people. And in the
democráticas
next
volveremos a
elections,
vencer.
we will
La
win
revancha
again.
popular va a ser implacable.
But do you think that's going to happen? Are there signs that's going to happen? ¿Usted piensa que eso va a pasar? ¿Que hay señales de esto?
Por supuesto,
Of
el
course,
respaldo
there are
popular,
signs.
el
The
cariño
public
de la gente
support.
fue algo que nunca nos pudieron robar.
They
Nos
were
robaron
never
nuestra
able to
organización
take away the
política,
love of
nuestros
the people
colores,
for
nuestros
us.
logos, nuestros
They took
nombres,
away
nuestros
our
números.
logo, our
Lo que no
color,
se
our
podían
number,
robar
but
fue
the
el
other thing
cariño
they
de la
couldn't
gente.
take away
Ese
from us
respaldo en cada rincón de la
was
patria que nosotros
was the
recorremos,
care that
y que el
everybody
pueblo
shows to
ecuatoriano es
us.
muy agradecido,
And the
y
people
sabe
of
que el
Ecuador are very
proyecto, el
grateful
proceso de la
because they know
revolución
that the
ciudadana
process of the
es
Revolución
un pilar
Ciudadana
fundamental para el
is a
desarrollo del
fundamental
país, para
pillar for the
construir una patria más
development of
justa y más
Ecuador,
equitativa.
to
But
create
just
a
let me
more
stick one last one in then.
equitable country.
Do you think the citizen movement, the citizen revolution movement on its own is able to do this? Or does it need to rethink its alliances? Does it need to broaden its base?
Es que esta no es una pelea solo de la
This is not just a fight of the Revolución Ciudadana. Maybe we're leading it as a political organization, but this is a great fight of the yellow, blue, and red of the flag of our country. This is a fight for Ecuador, for the Ecuadorian family. Here, there must be a great front where everybody who feels affected must join in.
De una manera patriótica,
We should all work with patriotic feelings. We have to raise our voice in the streets to show the rejection towards this government. We cannot tolerate more.
Thank you very much for your time, Ronny. We've been talking to Ronny Aleaga, a member of the National Assembly here in Ecuador, about the accusations of corruption, incompetence, malpractice in the Assembly against some members of the government, and also the attacks on the Council of Citizen Participation. Thank you.